All right, everybody. Welcome to a political talk show here on WRMN 1410 AM, downtown Elgin, Studio 14. It's a February 25th. We had a little bit of delay here, some technical difficulties, but we're all back up and running here. And today is Candidate Tuesday here. I am David Tees, your host here on WRMN for this political talk show here today. So let's get things started out here. Today in the studios, we actually have a candidate running for the 8th District for Congress. His name is Mr. Mark Rice. Mark Rice is a Republican candidate for Congress. He is running for the 8th District. And let's get this all switched over for him. Let's introduce him to all you guys. Hey, guys, how you doing? Now we got you on the screen. Yeah. Oh, let me get your mics up. So there we go. Now you guys are all live and running there.
I said, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Thanks
there
for
we
having
go.
me, David. This
Hey,
is fun.
thanks for coming. And right with you, too, you also have Callie Fine. She is Mark Rice's PR person here with him today in the studio. So welcome aboard to WRMN for a political talk show, Candidate Tuesday. So you're running for 8th District Congress, going to go to the big show, right?
Yep. You saw him on TV last night, right?
Yeah, it was a great State of the Union address.
It was.
Wow. I mean, if anybody saw it, if anybody wants to call in and ask Mark any questions really quickly, you can feel free to call in at 847-931-1410, or you can text us at 505-926-1410, or you could just go to YouTube live stream and ask Mark Rice any questions. We will be taking calls here. So, Mark, why don't you tell a little bit of everybody about yourself, who you are, where you live, where you come from?
Well, so I don't want to bore everybody, but I was on here about a year or two ago. I was the nominee in the 8th U.S. Congressional District last time. I ran against Raja Krishnamurthy. They tell me I lost the election, but in fact, I won the election with the in-person vote, and I did lose the election according to the State Board of Elections with the vote by mail. And this time, lucky for me, and lucky for all of us in the 8th U.S. Congressional, the evil Raja Krishnamurthy is now running for Senate, for U.S. Senate. So it's an open seat, and the district is made up of essentially Cook, Kane, and parts of DuPage, and it's a very crazily shaped district. But the great news is I came close to beating Raja last time, and I got 130,000 votes, in fact, just in the general, and about 30,000 in the primary. So I've got tremendous name ID. And this time, because it's a midterm, there will be less people voting than in the general last time. So we estimate that I will need about 100,000 votes in order to take the seat back, to flip it back red. Trump lost last time by only 2%. So it's a very purple district and can be flipped and has been Republican. The last Republican was Joe Walsh. Now, I'm no Joe Walsh, but anyway, it's been Republican back and forth for the last 50 years. And we plan now to turn this thing back red just by getting out there and telling the story. I'm a successful business guy. I got 4 kids and a wife. I'm a business guy that my kids are now running my business. And I'm a get stuff done guy. I'm not one of these insider politicians. My slogan has always been no more career politicians. I'm just a guy from Texas. I'm a lifelong entrepreneur, and I'm saying enough is enough. I can't stand to see what these Democrats have done to my beloved state and city and county, and we just got to take it back. So here I am out there telling the truth, which makes me some enemies because I like telling the truth. There's not enough truth out there, and I've got a real plan to do something about it. Not just talk about it, but actually get stuff done. So that's what I'm all about, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
And then we'll get everybody's, before the break here, you'll hear the music come on, and we'll have everybody get your website and how to get a hold of you. One of the things is we're going to talk about voters, what voters are asking, what they are looking for out of a candidate. First of all, is that Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for running. Thank you for trying to help save our country and clean our state up and clean that mess up
It's a
that was left
mess.
behind for us. And Trump's doing a great job with that. And our
Yep.
president's got a lot of work, a lot of resistance. But one of the biggest things that the American people want to know about it from you and how you'll help out when you're in Washington, taxes and the economy. Those are two
Biggest
biggest things
issues.
on people's
Agree.
households right
Agree.
there. And go
Agree.
ahead. Hey
So
man,
yeah, happy to talk about that.
yeah,
Okay, so the economy and taxes. I mean, basically, we have a government. At least here in Illinois, there's 17 U.S. congressional seats in the state. 14 of them are Democrats, so 3 are Republican. That means we only have 18% Republican, or let's say conservative representation. So we're dominated by the Democrats, and of course, we have a supermajority in the state House and in the state Senate, and we've got Pritzker, and we've got Johnson. And we've got these out of touch leftists that never saw an idea that they don't like, that they can grift and make money off of,
hmm
that at worst, but at best, they're just taking our money and throwing it away. And that's what we've got to do is stop that, slow that down. And the only way to do that is to replace the leadership. And so here I am trying to replace at least one of them, this in the 8th, U.S. congressional, and get in there and make some changes. So rather than, you probably have a lot of candidates on here who spew a lot of stuff that sometimes is more wishful thinking. I'm going to lower your taxes and I'm going to stop spending. Well, let me just give you a couple easy ones. We're going to, the Department of Emissions, you take your car in to
right.
get emissions. It's complete rubbish. We don't even need it. 20
hmm
states have already gotten rid of 20 states out of 50 have gotten rid of that. So I'm going to fire them all, save all that money, save our money having to worry about whether you've got 1% too much CO2 coming out of your tailpipe if you drive an ICE car, not an electric car, and just skip it. So there right there is tens of millions of dollars of savings. And now we have all these emissions testing facilities. And you know what I want to do with that? I want to make them gun ranges because we need more guns, not less guns. But that's one concrete example. And most politicians haven't really thought that through. They run these vanity campaigns. It's all about who they are. They need a job. They want to make money. They want to inside trade. They maybe they go in innocent, but they come out very dirty. And I'm a self-made guy. I don't need the money. I don't have an ego. I don't care about any of that. I want to do something to change it. Now, the second thing I'll just say, which is actually very big, is I've become friendly with Nick Shirley. You know who Nick is?
Yes, Mister.
So Nick's my buddy. You can go on my website or on Facebook and see videos. Nick actually has endorsed me, as has Tom Homan and a bunch of national people. But my plan is to use Nick, and Project Veritas is another guy who endorsed me. Anyway, the idea is to essentially doge Illinois, but not like what Pritzker is saying, or excuse me, what Bailey is saying, to actually do it. And I believe that government just can't do it because the government is corrupt, and so many people that are in the government are sort of on the take, and that's Republicans and Democrats both. And so what I want to do is privatize it, and we will pay a commission based on the savings for uncovering all the fraud, very much like, and by the way, I was in Minneapolis just a couple of weeks ago. I was at the Leering Center, and so I'm trying to really get deep into the weeds on that. And I have determined that what we can do right away is start a Doge Illinois effort and actually pay for-profit companies, smart young people that can go in there and eliminate all this waste, fraud, and corruption, and they'll actually get a little piece of the savings, at least at the beginning. And they won't be popular. They'll even get death threats because a lot of people are on the take here in Illinois. So by just stopping some of those things, I believe we can then freeze taxes and freeze property taxes and do a lot of things to get Illinois back to where we need to be, which is instead of being a bottom 5 state, we're either 45th to 50th in so many things, that taxes and so forth. And we should be in the top 5. But we got to inject some common sense in the situation. We got to get rid of all this fraud and corruption. The only way to do that is to elect people that are like me, that are truth tellers, and they're not afraid of the death threats, because I get them too. and they're not afraid of even people in our own party, because you know some of them who really don't like me because I represent disruption. The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And that's what we've been doing. And enough is enough. I'm here to make change. And if you don't like it, get out of the way, because change is coming.
You know, we've never had any property taxes or income taxes until World War One,
Yep.
and that was only supposed to be temporary.
Yep. Right.
And then World War II, they brought it back. And then after World War II,
Yeah,
nobody said
there are
anything.
no temporary taxes, right?
Yeah, right.
Everything is temporary until they create it, and then it's for life.
You imagine when they find out that was illegal, when they had no taxes, reparation, people will be screaming about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the president touched a lot about the stuff that we are going to be talking about today. Affordable housing for people. I mean, young people can't afford houses today.
It's a massive problem.
Yeah.
But by the way, when you're if you're young or old, if you don't own, and let's say you don't own a car, you rent the car.
Right.
How are you going to take care of that car? Are you going to wash it and drive it gingerly? No.
Right.
And you don't have a sense of ownership. Young people need to own our country and feel that they own a piece of America, a piece of the American dream. And now, with affordability being such an issue, and them taking so much of our money away in taxes and property taxes, I've got 4 kids and not one of them owns. They all rent. And we've got to change that. And one way to do that is to bring down property taxes. And another way is to bring up wages by creating jobs. And another way is just to get rid of the waste and the fraud and the corruption, like I said, but we've got to incentivize outsiders to come in to do that.
Right.
And Elon Musk did that a little bit, and Trump is doing that a little bit with the federal government. But right here in Illinois, boy, we are in a target-rich environment. We're just throwing this money away.
Taxes never go down, though. How are you going to make that happen? I mean, you got to get a lot of Congress and Senate people together and
That's
say,
right.
hey, we got to get these people to afford housing, to afford everything, clothes, milk,
food, everything.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like what he said last night. These data centers, how much electricity they take up.
Yeah, I'm in that business. That's what I do for a living.
I know that I'm not.
But did you hear a
poking at
solution?
Yeah, it was a great solution.
It's
I
a
thought it
great.
was brilliant.
I'm doing that already. This has been going on for 10 years. And the idea is there's some people that are against data centers for all kinds of silly Green New scam. I call it the Green New scam, but the Green New Deal idea. But if we can take these empty office buildings and turn them into data centers and create American jobs and compete on a national scale for the AI business, which is growing, by leaps and bounds, it's great. And if the problem is that we don't have enough power to do that, I actually had started and own, my kids are running, like I said, but the largest broker of power and gas in the state of Illinois, also in the Midwest. I mean, we're quite large. We're one of the largest in the country that does that. So I am quite the expert at bringing down energy costs. And it's a complicated issue. It's probably more than, there's not enough time to talk about it, but people don't understand it. We can do it. And part of the solution that Trump enunciated last night is that we can have them make their own power.
Have their own power plants.
Yeah, and then you don't have any problems.
And once again, creates more jobs. Gets the economy growing. And he said it's going to lower our electricity costs. I hope it does, because once they raise your prices, do you ever see anybody bring anything down?
Well, actually,
especially with electric companies.
Well, let me explain to you something. So that's what I do for a living. Is we help the largest companies in the state manage their energy spend. And in fact, yes, we have seen it come down through deregulation. Like we are last in almost everything except for energy, because we had the foresight to build nuclear plants, which we can build more of if we get rid of some of the regulations and make that easier. It's become safer really than almost anything. So by having nuclear and also having a cogen, we call it, or self-generation, what we can do is have these data centers make enough power, not just for their own use, but also they can then sell that off to others. And we should be a state that exports energy, just like Texas and others, because we have a lot of coal, we have access to nuclear, and the wind is always blowing, right? We're from the Windy City. We can do all that, but it just takes the will to do it. And the people, like I said, the leftists that are controlling our state now are more concerned about a spotted owl or a bug or something that just is crazy, rather than worrying about the people of Illinois, that we should have cheaper electricity. But because we're deregulated, we can do all of that and compete with the best of them. And I don't know anybody in the whole state like me that understands this business. And it can be pretty boring, but data centers use power 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And do you realize, like at night, like right now, if you wanted to buy power from me and I went to the largest producers of power in the country to sell you power, you could get it for free at night because the wind is blowing and or the nuclear plants are running. You can't turn them on and off.
Right. No.
But demand, unfortunately, goes down a lot at night because people are sleeping and businesses are closed. Well, data centers are steady load. They have a perfect load factor. So by having more data centers, we can actually improve the load factor of the state, which will allow us to compete with any state in the country. And it could be an amazing thing for Illinois, and nobody's talking about because they don't understand it.
We're actually
has collected about 60,000 gallons of leftover paint in its first 2 months. Officials say Paint Care now has more than 340 drop-off sites across Illinois offering free recycling. 2 bills in the Illinois House would require companies to disclose when personal data is used to set prices, known as algorithmic pricing. Supporters say it would boost transparency and allow consumers to opt out, while industry groups argue it helps deliver competitive prices. Democratic lawmakers have filed a bill requiring IDOT to include passenger rail frequency goals in the state rail plan. Supporters envision hourly trains from Chicago to Champaign and expanded service to Carbondale, Memphis, and other cities, calling it a first step toward major rail expansion. I'm Ryan Gatenby with your news flash.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Are you dreaming of a getaway? Want to leave the stress of daily life behind? Whether it's a relaxing cruise or an adventurous land escape, planning the perfect vacation doesn't have to be a hassle. At Cruises International, they specialize in vacation destinations, land and sea, making your dreams come true. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, Cruises International isn't just about booking travel. They're your personal concierge, trusted travel advisor, and advocate. Your preferences are unique, and they'll take the time to understand exactly what you're looking for. From personalized service to their global network of specialists, they ensure that your vacation is tailor-made just for you. It's time to plan the vacation of a lifetime. Call 800-255-7447. That's 800-255-7447 today and speak to a cruise and vacation expert. Cruises International. It's time to set sail to your dream destination.
This is Will Walker with your Fox Valley forecast. Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 19. Looking ahead to Thursday, expect mostly sunny skies with a high near 42. As we move into Thursday night, it will be mostly clear with a low around 30. Currently, it's 31 and clear. With your Fox Valley forecast, I'm Will Walker on WRMN, the talk of the town.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The greatest insult the Colonel ever suffered was being served a wrap that was just a snack by a friend. So he took 2 crispy tenders, lettuce, tomatoes, and pepper mayo, and wrapped them in a soft tortilla. It wasn't a snack, it was a meal. He called it a twister, and never called that friend again. The Colonel lived, so we could chicken. The Twister, now back at KFC, classic or with bacon. Also try it spicy. It's finger-licking good.
Prices and participation may vary.
All right. right, everybody. Welcome back to a political talk show here on WRMN 1410 AM. I got everybody's mics all live right now, and we are here at a political talk show, Candidate Tuesday. I am your host, David Tees, along together with my friend and running for Congress, 8th District, Mr. Mark Rice.
Let's go, David.
And we also have Callie Fine in here.
Hello.
His PR person here.
Yes, and you may know me as Conscious Cal on TikTok, where I have a pretty decent following, but we are here to talk to the main man on campus here, which is Mr. Mark Rice.
Yes, it is. Which we're all here. Once again, if you guys want to call in and ask him any questions, you can call in at 847-931-1410 or text us. We're looking at that at 505-926-1410, or just go to YouTube Live and you can just watch us on your flat screen TV or make a comment on the comment page right there, section there. Mark, we're back here.
Yes.
We were talking. I know we got cut off with data centers, but let's move on to another topic because we got about a little less than a half hour left, and I want to make sure you get your platform out there and ask you some more questions. If anybody wants to get and ask Mark any questions on his website, it is Mark at Rice, the number for Congress.com. They got a telephone number. Can they call you on that telephone number and ask you questions?
Yeah.
You can also call at 847-881-6459 and get involved. Help out, get involved. Become a member of the Rice campaign.
Let's
do
go.
literature, do phone calls, donations. Everybody needs money. So this is we got to get our country really back to the point where it's way better than it was. And we're getting there slowly. We all need to work together and chip in. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. We can do this together. So, Mark, another big question that people have on, and then I want to get to another topic here.
Yep.
And it was said last night too. Crime. We saw New York police officers being pelted by snowballs. It wasn't a snowball.
I saw
fight.
that. Yeah.
It wasn't a snowball fight.
I saw
They
it.
were actually snowballs being thrown at them. But here in Elgin, in 2024 to 2025, we broke a record for the most shot fired. Things were out of control. 2020, we were at like 89. I don't know the numbers. I know it was in the 80s. Shots fired. Okay.
Yeah.
And now in 2025, I think we didn't even pass 20.
Yeah.
That is a huge drop. Plus, crime has dropped. We have the greatest police force, I think, in the state of Illinois, and I'll say in the country. Chief Lowry does an amazing job. The officers follow her. That she's got the leadership, and it's great to have somebody like her. There's a lot of people out there that want to defund the police.
Yes, there are crazy people out there.
Yeah, and we got to do that. So your position on law enforcement and keeping our streets safer, because you're in Congress. You are going to be making laws. That's what Congress does.
First of all, it affects me personally. One of the fellows on my campaign, Curtis, just got mugged and had to go to the hospital. I mean, it's a real thing. I've had 2 cars separately stolen out of my own driveway. I was personally assaulted the other night in the city. This was in Chicago. And the police came and they said, well, we could try to find the guy. And if we do find him, he's going to be out of there before we even fill out the paperwork.
Right.
So it's an unofficial report actually that we filed. There's so much of the crime goes unreported that the statistics aren't actually real. Some of it is fake news. I'm not so sure about Elgin, but in general, a lot of crime goes unreported. We've got crazy, stupid policy that is, again, Democrat leftist policy, like sanctuary city status, sanctuary state status, and of course the Safety Act, which keeps nobody safe. And we've just got to enforce the laws that are on the books. We've got to support the police, not only not defund the police, we need to get them more funding and more training, and we need to support them. I'll just give you one anecdotal story that happened to me personally. I'm with my daughter, Sabrina, who's a little bit of a leftist, believe it or not. I'm a lifelong conservative from Texas. I sent her to a liberal arts school where they indoctrinate kids now and hypnotize them to be leftists. That's another subject.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she's a little bit of a leftist. So we're walking my dog, Milton Friedman. And my dog, Milton Friedman, by the way, is pretty famous because in the city, I have an apartment as well as Arlington Heights where I live, and it's right next to Pritzker's house. So Milton Friedman likes to do his business on Pritzker's house every morning, which I feel good about. Something about that makes me feel good. But anyway, we down the street, we were walking Milton, and a guy comes up to us who looks kind of like a gang, not to
Profile.
stereotype or profile, but he
No,
looked
right.
like a gang guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to F word kill you. And he goes, and then I'm going to F word kill your dog too. And he was threatening me. And I'm a pretty big guy, and I'm a concealed carry guy as well. And I wasn't so worried. My daughter's crying and freaking out because our life's being threatened.
Right.
And even poor Milton, the dog's life's threatened. So anyway, then we got away from him, and he was still yelling at other people. He's crazy on
Yeah.
drugs probably. And I went to a police officer, who happened to be there. It was over by the Wrigley building, great part of
Yeah,
Chicago.
north side, yeah.
Doesn't get better than that. So there was a police officer, and I told him the whole story. I said, can you go arrest him or at least get him off the street, do something? He's going to hurt somebody. He's like, well, did he stab you? Did he shoot you? I'm like, well, obviously not. He says, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
The laws don't allow us to do anything. And then he's like, he knew who I was because I, ran for Congress. And he's like, I voted for you. And he said, but the truth is, I want out of here as soon as I can. I'm retiring. I'm moving.
Right.
I'm leaving. And he says, let me ask you something. Where do you live? I'm like, right down over there. And he's like, he goes, oh, well, that's the problem. He's like, Mark, you shouldn't be living here. It's very dangerous around here. I mean, we've somehow enabled our lives to be like escape from New York. I mean, it's crazy what's going on around here, and we should not put up with it one bit. And we need to deport the people that are illegally here, especially the ones that are criminals. We need to, arrest the people that are committing crimes, and we have to prosecute them. There's only a 4% chance right now if you commit a crime that you'll end up doing time.
Right.
So 96% chance you'll get away with it. I mean, there's no consequences for crime. You're going to get more of it.
Right.
So we're probably importing criminals rather than exporting them, because if you go to Texas and you try to rob somebody, you're getting shot because everybody's carrying there. You come here, you're getting free meals and training and maybe a therapist to talk to you. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm all about that. And of course, I have support from the police and the veterans and law enforcement folks. And there are a lot of things that we can do that will drive the liberals crazy, but that's okay because it's destroying the state and people are leaving in droves because of it.
Yeah, and crime is in the suburbs. We don't see it out here that much, but we know that in the
It's
city,
here.
excuse me, in the city, it's a free for all, and that's why we need law
My
enforcement.
cars that got stolen were in my driveway in Glencoe.
Yeah,
Fancy suburb, on a golf course. 2 gang members separately, 6 months apart, came to my house, broke in, and stole 2 cars.
wow.
So it's in the suburbs. They just don't like to talk about it.
And you touched a little bit about immigration.
Yes.
Okay, and I know it was touched about that last night too. And how do you? I mean, we know we got to get rid of the bad people, the killers. I mean, not all illegals are bad people. We've expressed this before. They're here for a better life. They're here for jobs to get their kids' education and all that stuff. Would you like the dreamers that are here that were brought in earlier and all that? Their kids are getting to the point where they're 18 years old. And a lot of these things, and immigration reform is something that I am actually big on. Like the president touched, we are allowing people to come into this country legally to get jobs, to have a better life.
Of course.
Do you have any views of a good immigration reform bill that you would like to?
Yeah.
Because you're going to be suggesting
Of
bills to
course.
bring
No, of
onto the
course.
floor. I mean, you got to
First
come up
of
with some
all, I
ideas.
told you, Tom Homan is one of my supporters.
There's a picture of him on the website.
Tom has made videos talking about how we need to get me in there. And my slogan in the last election, of course, when the border was wide open because Obama was really president, not Biden, and that was by design. They were flooding the country with illegals, I believe, so they could win elections. But in any event, it was bring back ICE, vote for Rice. It rhymes, right? So I'm all about supporting ICE. But of course, we need to reform the immigration system to, if somebody's been here for 20 years or they're a dreamer, they were born here, et cetera, there's got to be some kind of a very empathetic way to deal with people who maybe didn't come here the right way, but they've been here so long that it creates a burden on them and their families and the communities. But first we got to fix the problem. We do have to get rid of, if somebody raped somebody or they murdered somebody, God forbid, or they, they're a criminal from their home country and they've come to this country, we've got to apprehend them and we've got to get them the heck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And once we do that, and he's doing a great job. I mean, look what's going on today in Mexico. They're actually taking it to the cartels, which I've been talking about now for a couple of years. You know, we're destroying the drugs where they're made. The fentanyl was killing over 100,000, mostly kids, a year. And that is you're going to see that's going to go way down.
Decline, especially.
And I've been to 5 funerals, David.
Yeah, with
5 suburban kids' funerals. They're mostly kids.
Right.
You know, they don't do it on purpose. They get it's mixed in, you know, blended in with pot or whatever.
It's everywhere. It's in every suburb. It's in your
cheap,
suburbs.
It's a cheap drug, and people use it, and they tend to die. But anyway, finally we have a president that's doing something about it, and they have really shut the border down. That's amazing. And so we're going to see a lot less drugs and a lot less people coming over. And now they have the very painful task, especially in Illinois, where they're against ICE and they're against law enforcement, but that we can't even arrest child molesters. I mean, you've seen like the videos, like they're trying to stop the ICE from doing their job, and the ICE officers say, "Listen, I want to let you know we have a warrant for this guy, and he's raped somebody, and you're trying to stop us from doing it. Are you sure?" I mean, you know, and of course they've got TDS, Trump derangement syndrome,
right?
And they think that they're buying into a false narrative that the federal government is against, you know, minorities or brown people or whatever they want to call them. It's not that. We just got to enforce the law. We're a rule of law country. And once we do that, we need to engage on a bipartisan basis, and it is a federal issue, to fix the immigration system. And we can do it, but not while murders are happening. First you stop, you know, first you put out the fire, and then you figure out how to prevent the fire in the future.
Right. And if they live next door to their house, they would be the first ones calling the police. Hey, you want to get this guy out of my backyard?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's the thing about it is, and people are really being misinformed about. They think they're just taking everybody off the streets and throwing them into jail.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
And
well, they want to scare them. They want to scare them.
Yeah, the fear mongering and all that stuff. But like with the border being closed, nobody's coming through. We're at zero. Fentanyl down 66%.
Yeah,
out of 100. Now we're not talking 1,000. We're talking 100, that's huge. Okay,
right.
And less people are gonna be dying. And like you just said, but you know, it bothered me when he was saying that, you know, we're not done yet. We're gonna get rid of all the fentanyl. And everybody got up and clapped except for the left. They just sat there like they were just like, yeah, so what? Let people die.
Well, wait. The most telling thing that happened for me last night was, and I think Trump is playing 3D chess. I think he's way smarter than people give him credit for. And what he said is, he says, please stand up and applaud if you. I'm maybe not saying the words verbatim, but something along the lines of, if you accept the general principle that the government should help its citizens before illegal aliens. And of course, all the Republicans clapped, and none of the Democrats got up and clapped.
Right. No.
So essentially what they were saying is that the government's job is to help the illegal aliens as much, if not even more, than citizens. And I tell you what, that's an 80-20 issue or a 90-10 issue. And the Democrats want to die on that hill because they think it's just all politics.
Right.
And they think they can scare the immigrants or the illegals or people that really are empathetic of all the illegals, and that they can scare them into voting Democrat because the mean racists like me or all of us probably here and Donald Trump, that we're somehow against immigration. We all are children of immigrants. We want legal immigration, but it's not fair just to let people in illegally and not have some kind of system to equitably manage it. And it's certainly not fair to the mothers that I know and watch them bury their kids of fentanyl, or the victims of crime. He pointed some of those people out.
Right.
We've got to put a stop to it.
Yeah, and is that fair for those who actually followed the rules, did the process, got a job?
They waited 10 years.
Waited 10 years. I know a family from New Delhi, 19 years here, and I've expressed this many times on it. In 19 years, and still haven't gotten their citizenship, and their kids are in college.
Right.
It's a longer process for some and then others. But like I say, if you do, you'll win. You'll go to Congress. You'll be down there, and then you'll forget about who I am.
We've got it. No, I won't. But we've got a real shot to do it, and I'm a real guy, and I'm not going to put up with all this political BS.
Hey, you know, one of the
they're
greatest
like,
things.
who's giving me the money? Okay, what do you want me to do? It's, that movie with Eddie Murphy when he goes to Congress. I forget the name of that movie, but it's so corrupt down there. I'm spending a lot of
Yeah.
time in D.C. and I'm learning that all the horrible stories that we hear about it, they're all true. There's almost no Republicans around here, so it's all Democrats. But I mean, it's broken, and we have got to fix that thing.
Right.
And some of these guys got to go to jail. And
Yeah.
I don't mind saying it. And I have death threats. I had a debate in Schaumburg. We had 300 people. It was sold out. You were there, right? Did you know I had death threats? So we had to have police officers there to
Right.
protect. They said if I attended the debate and didn't withdraw, they were going to kill me. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's fine. I'm a tough guy, right? We're
Yeah.
the same age, and I'm over the target. That's all.
Yeah, they just try to scare you.
Yeah.
They think that they're going to do.
Well,
that
look what they
stuff.
did to Charlie Kirk just last week. They tried to, it appears, to kill the president again with the shotgun.
Yeah, right, with a shotgun.
And they killed that person.
Well, there's
but,
always going to be those out there that just don't like the agenda,
Yeah.
but we just got to keep moving forward. Like like we say, if you guys go online and you look up Mark Rice's website, once again, that is Mark at Rice, the number 4 Congress.com. It's an amazing website. I got it up right here,
thanks.
and you got a good picture of you smiling, and
Please support us by clicking on the donation link.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
we
need
money.
signs. We need door knockers.
right.
But that's another thing I want you to know, and your listeners to know, is I can't work with the party here. No offense to you, because you're a part of the party, but we've learned to lose. We really haven't won a lot around here. So
Mhm.
I'm working with Trump's group called Citizens Alliance, also Heritage Foundation, and Charlie Kirk's group is
Turning
also
Point.
part of that TPUSA.
Right.
They actually all three work together, and it's all about the ground game and ballot harvesting and things that we don't do in Illinois, but the Democrats do it. The
Right.
Democrats do it. And by the way, I mentioned to you before there were 3 seats that are Republican out of 17, and that's only 18%.
Right.
Okay, but we voted 45% for Trump as a
Mhm.
state, and people say, "Oh, that's gerrymandering." It's not just gerrymandering. We are doing a horrible job of winning elections.
Yeah.
So I'm doing something completely different, which is hiring a lot of young people, a lot of Turning Point people, or Callie over here and others, and we are working full time to win elections.
Let me tell you a little quick story, because then I'm going to let you have the mic to talk about your platform here. It's going to be the Mark Rice moment here.
Okay.
I'm a plumber, and I have an account. It's a retirement, but apartments, but it's all elderly, low income. Okay, it's in
Mhm.
Elgin, and I was in there, and there's an elderly lady in there, probably about 80-something years old, and I got done rodding her sink, and I said, "Hey, I see your mail-in ballot. This is for the 24 election, November."
Yeah.
I said, "I see your
I was
mail-in
on the
ballot."
ballot,
Yeah,
yeah.
so was I.
Yeah.
And-
Right.
Yeah, and we were on in the primaries with Trump, and
That's
then on the
right.
general election with Trump.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
that's a milestone for me. But
Yeah.
anyhow, I asked her, "You going to fill that out?" She says, "No, not really." I said, "Why not? It's just important to vote and all that stuff, and it's hard for you to get out. This is what they're here for."
Yeah. Right.
That's what we won't go there. But she was like, "It's embarrassing." I said, "I'm sitting here with your kitchen sink goop all
Right,
over my
right.
body and my face, and who's more embarrassed, me or you?" And she says, "I can't read." She did not know how to
Wow.
read, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay.
a problem.
And that was the thing about it with
Yeah.
mail-in ballots. We got a lot of people that don't know how to read them. I
Yeah.
sat down with her after I cleaned up and helped her fill out her mail-in ballot. I gave her
Yeah.
the names. She picked them.
And she did it. She completed the ballot.
She was so excited.
That's
She
great.
sealed that letter up, went
Yeah.
down to the mailbox in the
That's
lobby, and
great.
stuck it in there, and she had a smile on
Yeah.
her face. So
She
that's-
wouldn't have been able to vote in person because she wouldn't have anybody to assist her
Right.
to read
Yeah.
to her.
And even
So
though
that's
the polling
good.
place is just down the road from her, but she can't make
Yeah.
it there. Okay. But that's the benefits of the
Yeah.
mail-in ballots, which should be like military and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I get it. But yeah, so it's
Yeah. I
it's
was
a
at
great
Gale
story.
Borden
You
Library.
should see the smile on her face.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah. So,
But
but
a lot of people can't speak English.
so before we get to commercial break for to cut us out here at the bottom of the
Yeah.
hour, I'm going to turn the mic over to you, and I want
Yeah.
you to give everybody the platform as to why you guys should be voting for Mark Rice for Illinois 8th Congressional District. I almost said that wrong. Take it away.
So I've never written a speech in my life. I just talk from the heart. I'm a plain guy. Some people don't like that. A lot of people are threatened by people like me who tell the truth, and I don't care because the truth has got to come out. We've got to make these changes. The last person out, turned the lights off. And so we've got to turn things around. We've got to make Illinois and make the 8th U.S. congressional district, which includes Elgin and includes Kane and Cook and DuPage. We've got to make it great again. And we can. We've got everything great. We just have really bad leadership. And unfortunately, our bad leadership has also sort of hypnotized the Republican Party, where we kind of go along to get along. We make deals with the Democrats, or we don't have the resources that they have, the people. We don't have the fake jobs, the patronage jobs, they call them. There's been a history of a lot of corruption in Illinois, and we're not part of that. So what I'm doing is working with people from out of state, and I'm telling the truth, and I'm inspiring people. And I got a record number of votes last time. I don't know if you know that, David.
Yeah.
I got more votes than anybody got in 20 years, even people that won in Congress. So we're doing something right. We're disrupting things. And because of that, I'm getting threatened. And you'll certainly hear probably lies about me and or just negative things because people don't like that somebody like me actually has a good chance to win. But we do have a good chance to win. We've got a really tremendous team of paid young conservatives. And here I am. I'm a pro-life, pro-gun, pro-Trump. Most people won't say that. I say it because God bless Donald Trump. I'm so pleased at a lot of what he's doing. Is he perfect? No. But is he almost perfect? I would say yeah. And we've got a chance to enhance and increase what Trump is doing and accelerate it, or we can let the Democrats take control and he'll get impeached on day one and it'll all be over. And then people like us are going to be in re-education camps. Who knows? But I'll go move back to Texas. That's where I'm from. I suppose I don't want to do that. I want to make Illinois great again. I need your help. I need you to sort of tune out some of this Republican nonsense. You've got all this infighting and party infighting. We can bring people together because all it takes is somebody like me who's built companies, who's built nonprofits, who has a reputation of doing that. And I don't always make a lot of friends, because with disruption comes pain for people that are happy with the status quo. Well, the status quo is broken. It is so broken that people here are behaving like they're at a party and daddy's out of town and nobody's there, and they're having a keg party and they're having fun. But you know what? It doesn't work. People are dying. People are getting their lives destroyed. Well, you know what? Daddy's home. I'm here. We're going to take this thing back. I could use your help. And with your help and with God, we're going to change this thing back and take it back, and it's going to be good.
Thank you.
That's what I got to say.
And once again, you can go to his website, Mark@Rice, number 4, not the spelling it
Or
out.
just www.Rice for Congress.
Rice for Congress, another way, or else you could call and ask and see how you could help out at 847-881-6459. And one question I always ask every candidate before they go: who is your favorite Democrat in the Senate or in Congress?
I hate them all.
There is one good. There is one good one. There's one good one there's always one good one out of every group. Not everybody's bad. Come on, just pick one. We got a little bit of time left here.
Boy, I don't know. That's you're ambushing me with this one, because honestly, I see that as a party, they all didn't stand up yesterday. There wasn't one that stood up.
There was one.
They're afraid.
There was one that shook Trump's hand when he
Who was
walked up
that?
to the podium.
Who was it?
Fetterman.
Oh, so Fetterman would right now today in the Senate, Fetterman would be my guy.
Yeah,
because
I
he's
said
bucking the
Senate or
trend,
Congress.
but he's also from a state that is traditionally a little more Republican. And in fact, the group I'm working with, Citizens Alliance, has a group called PA Chase, where they're flipping that whole state red by knocking on thousands and thousands of doors.
Right.
So yeah, Fetterman, I guess, would be a good one. But at the end of the day, common sense has to prevail. And I don't have to like a Democrat to work with them.
Right.
I don't have to like these Republicans that are like total rhinos either. We can get together. We don't have to be best friends.
Right.
We just have to do what's right for everybody. And it may not be right for their pocketbook, unfortunately, for them. Well, I don't need money, but some people do, and they got to go. They're in the way. There's a lot of people in the way. We got to get all the people in the Republican and Democrat Party that are in the way. We got to get them out of the way and just get people in there that are in it for us, not for them. Most people hate politicians for a good reason, and we just need to get a better class of people, term limits, things like that, and change the culture.
All right. Well, we got to get ready to get out of here. We're going to go to a commercial break. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thanks
we
for
got
having us.
Callie Fine And we got Mark Rice in here today. I am David Tees on a political talk show here on WRMN 1410 AM, downtown Elgin, Studio 14. Stay tuned for our next program coming on here. Thank you guys once again for coming in and sharing some of your information that you got for the voters out there. It's been an honor and a pleasure to having you here. Good luck with everything. So good luck, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 8 o'clock.
With your news flash, I'm Ryan Gatenby. Brought to you by Rain